Hello and welcome to THINKpod, powered by the FII Institute. For more than 30 years, I led Sky News' coverage of global events, holding to account the politicians and change makers shaping the world of today. In this series, filmed at the 6th Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, I've got the opportunity to question those shaping the future. At this inflection point in our history, how can we ensure that the future is one of prosperity and opportunity for all? This episode, we meet Hamdi Tabbaa, a leading light in the education technology revolution.
I want to be able to look back and say that I managed to leave a mark on the region and humanity.
As co-founder and chief executive of Adwaab, Hamdi has taken advantage of rapid digitisation in the Middle East and North African region to provide high-quality, affordable education to the next generation. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on THINKpod. I'd like to ask everyone I'm talking to start by introducing themselves.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So my name is Hamdi Tabbaa. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Adwaab. We're an edtech startup based out of the Middle East and Pakistan region, solving the problem of extremely high dependence on after-school tutoring, which is very relevant to our topic of discussion today. Prior to that, I was managing Uber across multiple countries in the region. Did that for around 5 years. And before that, I started my company that ran for around 6-7 years, and then I exited before joining Uber. My academic background is a bit different. I did business management at King's College in London. And then I did my master's in real estate economics and finance at the LSE in London as well.
You've done a lot very quickly.
Yeah.
So just tell us about those early businesses you're involved in before Adwaab.
So my first company was straight out of university. I was just determined to build something and create value. You know, when you're young, you think you know everything, and then you realize that you don't know anything.
Well, you didn't do badly.
Well, it was okay. Managed to sell the company just when I joined Uber.
And how did you come to join Uber?
Honestly, it was pure coincidence, I would say. One of my friends was doing like a short project with Uber, and he came to ask me for advice. And by just like within the conversation, he was like, "How about you apply for Uber? They have an open role." And then I applied, not really believing that ride sharing could have a big potential or opportunity in the region. Just thought that the region is not similar to the dynamics in the West where like you could get in a car with a stranger, but I ended up joining and I just saw the growth of Uber from the ground up.
I mean, you were pretty near the beginning in your region, certainly.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, I was really determined. I would consider my first experience as more of a failure.
Yeah, you're being modest though. Your first business, you had $15 million in annual revenue.
Yeah, we hit that.
That's not a failure, is it?
Yeah, I had like really big dreams for that. I was basically inspired by the Tesco and Sainsbury's business model in the UK, and I wanted to do something similar across the region and then to take it online. But I had zero tech background and experience, so I ended up failing in the online project part of it and ended up not scaling to like hundreds of branches.
And what happened to the business?
I sold it.
And is it still there?
It's still operating, so it's good
That's a success too.
It's good to see it over there at least.
But Uber, you basically had to change social mores and laws in some cases.
Yeah, laws. And when we were launching, we had like 10 drivers in a city, and you'd be like calling them up one by one, just making sure that they're online. And then there's this whole cultural objection to getting in a car with a stranger, let alone a female getting in a car with a stranger.
So across MENA, where did you get Uber established?
So I launched Jordan and scaled it, and then was in charge of Lebanon. Also managed to scale that business, and then Qatar. And I was about to launch Kuwait and Iraq, and then the Careem acquisition happened, and the company put some brakes on these projects. But yeah, I saw the business grow from like $10,000 to like hundreds of millions of dollars in annual revenue. So.
And in the region now, how widespread is Uber?
It's now spread across Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi, Qatar, the UAE, I think. Kind of like 50% of the region, I would say. For some markets, it was a very big challenge to like build and scale Uber. Northern African countries, primarily.
So that's two businesses.
Yep.
And then Adwaab.
Yep.
Happened. What was your idea there?
When I joined Uber, I realized that I was previously operating in like the offline space and seeing what you can achieve within technology and seeing tech being enabled with mobility and ride sharing and the impact it had on the transport industry. I was like, wow, you can do so much with the power of technology. And if you're able to do that on mobility, imagine what you can do in education in a region that's already lagging behind. And then I had a interesting experience with, it was like a Harvard Uber joint degree, kind of like an executive program. And I used to take these classes at 2 a.m. my time on my couch in the sitting room. And it made me realize that if you're able to get Harvard level education online through a laptop in a country called Jordan that few people know about, imagine what you can do to the entire region with the power of technology. And that has just inspired me to start Adwaab with a mission of delivering the best quality educational experience to the masses and make it affordable.
I mean, was your primary motivation to build a business, or was it actually social change?
It's really delivering impact as a byproduct of building a business. I remember when I joined Uber, I told my wife, I was like, listen, I'm seeing what positive impact that you can achieve. I'm never going back to selling like chips and confectionery and chocolates and Snickers and Pepsi.
Taxi rides.
Yeah. I want to be able to look back in like 15, 20, 25 years and say that I managed to leave a mark on the region and humanity.
So if we look at the region, Middle East, North African region, what is the educational challenge?
I mean, if you want to look at statistics, if you look at the PISA ratings, which happens every 3 years, basically assesses 15-year-olds' ability in maths and reading and writing, the region scores in the bottom quartile. It's very unfortunate, and obviously it's on the back of multiple things. Very high growth in population. Schools are not able to keep up with that. So in certain countries, you see 2 and 3 shifts of students on one school. There's limited discipline as well in terms of going to the school itself. I was also reading a statistic by the OECD that the rate of absenteeism is around 2x the normal rate of other countries, which also, all of this leads to just a poor learning experience for the upcoming generation, which ultimately leads to a less bright future, I would say.
And millions of children to not getting any education at all.
You're talking about 160 million students under the age of 18 between Morocco and Pakistan.
Who are not going to school at all.
No, not going to school. I think it's already categorized in the tens of millions, out of school completely. But there are like 160 million students below the age of 18 in the region, and the population pyramid is extremely fat from the bottom. So as time goes by, you're just seeing the problems just being exacerbated.
And what was your idea?
Honestly, when I wanted to start, I was like, okay, great. I'm going into edtech. I want to build like a platform that can teach anyone anything. You can learn like cooking, coding, math, sciences, whatever you want. And then I realized that if you want to achieve that, you need to start off with a very clear niche of a problem that you're going to be solving. And the biggest problem that we realized lies in the school segment, like students aged 4 to 18, I would say.
Primary and secondary. Yeah.
Primary and secondary, and even it's larger on the secondary side. You see parents spending around like 25-30% of their household income on after-school tutoring and educational services. And when you compare that to the West, it's below 3%. So we said, okay, we want to focus on just delivering the best quality experience to high school and secondary school students to be able to get them through school, essentially. Long-term vision is we want to just unleash the power of and the potential of this generation, is get them to be set up for employability, creating jobs, and just delivering value to the economy. And I think it starts off with, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the beginning, they just need to be able to get through school and understand the basic concepts of math, sciences, and languages. So that's where we're starting.
So is this internet access to lectures, data material? Is that what it is?
Exactly. So our platform is matching the national curriculum that you're supposed to be learning at school. So let's assume you're a 7th grader in Egypt. You go back home, you log on to Adwaab, you select grade 7, and you see the entire learning journey mapped out in front of you that matches exactly what you're supposed to be learning at school. And it's a bunch of concept-based lessons that we produce with high-quality production and animation and visuals that allow you to grasp the concept, as well as a series of assessments, so you keep on assessing yourself.
And is it interactive at all? Or?
There is an element of interactivity. We've done some pilots of synchronous classes, so you go live with the teacher, basically, and you ask questions. But it's predominantly learn at your own pace.
And parents pay a subscription, do they?
Yep, it's a freemium subscription product, so you could get to try it out for free, and then if you like it, you get to experience part of the experience, and then when you subscribe, you just unlock full access for the entire year, and it's a fraction of the cost of what parents usually spend on offline tutoring.
And what about people who are not getting education, who are probably the very poorest? Can they get access to it?
Certainly. Unfortunately, that in certain rural areas and villages, you might miss out on physics, for example, for a full year because they weren't able to get hold of a physics teacher for like grade 11, let's say. And then that's it. You've lost your chance to learn physics for that year. So the good thing with us is you could actually, even if you don't go to school in a rural area or a remote village, you can still learn the whole thing and pass at school. And we've actually done that. We've collaborated with a couple of NGOs for refugee students that are completely out of school. We even have a 20-year-old that's in the 7th grade still. And she came back to school purely because of the product that we were offering. And she managed to get through and pass the year.
And with NGOs, they'll bear the cost, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And it's basically a bundle of hardware, internet, and subscription to our platform.
And how does it work for primary children, how they relate to?
Yeah, I mean, right now we've only gone down to 4th grade, which is around 10 years old. We believe that beyond that, as you said, the entire experience needs to be different. I mean, if you're speaking to like a first grader, 6, 7-year-old, the product experience needs to be more gamified, more visual, a lot more hand-holding throughout the learning journey. So we haven't gone down that route yet.
And it works on smartphones as well as bigger screens.
It's a mobile app, so you could download it. Most of our students learn through their app, but you could also just open the website through your computer and start learning.
As far as qualifications, graduations, all of that?
I mean, we haven't gone down the route of we'll give you like a certificate purely for learning online. There's definitely going to be room for that in the future, but right now, yeah.
And who's providing your material, your original material?
It's all in-house. I usually refer to like our content operations team as a Mercedes factory because it really operates like a German machine. It's a very well organized process of creating the content. Now we take the curriculum from the ministries of education, but then we break it down into concept-based lessons. Right. So we have a team of teachers, cinematographers, learning experts, academic experts, creative people, post-producers, video editors, and we do the whole thing from like drafting the lesson plan to creating the content into studios, post-production, audit, and everything around that.
And how many people are you employing?
We have hundreds of people, I would say, working on the content side. If you want to count all hands on deck, that includes people working in sales, marketing, content, audit, etc., and engineers, we would pass 1,000 people.
And this is all Arabic, is it? Or?
It's all Arabic, and in Pakistan, it's localized for Urdu. And you know, a country like Pakistan has different boards.
Sure.
So for every province, it's kind of like a different curriculum. So we offer the Punjab, the Federal, the KPK, and the Sindh, the 4 main boards in Pakistan as well.
What's the coverage? How many people do you reckon you can reach potentially with this?
I think we can reach millions of students. I mean, we already have millions of students that are engaging with our product in one way or another for free. But we feel that we could have like millions of subscribers that are seriously just learning throughout the year on our product.
How many subscribers do you have now?
We've passed hundreds of thousands of subscribers already.
So you're in profit?
Not yet. I don't think that's the focus right now. We're definitely building a business towards sustainable profitability.
Yeah, but obviously you've got to continue to operate. So what that means support from government, educational support?
We've actually raised venture capital funding. We've raised in the past 2.5 years a total of $27 million. Right now we're the most funded edtech startup in the region. We haven't gone down the B2G route. We're a direct-to-consumer subscription product. So students subscribe. We are offering discounts. It's part of the strategy. As we grow, we will be gradually increasing our price. Still, we'll keep it affordable because that's the vision. We want to have millions of students pay up to $100 maximum per year.
And how much competition is there out there?
It's a very fragmented market, I would say. I can name like probably thousands of edtech startups in the region, tackling the problem from different angles and different sorts of things. But there aren't many very large players out there yet, I would say. I would say that we are primarily competing with the incumbent rather than edtech startups. The offline tutoring space is huge, huge. You see centers that host 200-300 students after school.
Sure.
You go to school, you're learning your class, and ironically, you go to an even larger class after school to get the supplementary learning that you need. So I would say this is our primary competition.
So finally, your ambition for yourself, for the company, for the next decade, what is it?
The short answer to it is unleashing the human potential across the region. The ambition is to be able to deliver the best quality education to students across the region, starting with secondary school students at an affordable price and deliver it to the masses. But beyond that, it goes to becoming a lifelong learning product where at Adwaab, you just continue learning throughout your career, throughout university, and throughout your life.
Hamdi Tabbaa, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
In these turbulent times, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to Thinkpod for more insight and analysis.